What language do you speak? What is your religion? What holidays do you celebrate? What is your racial identification? What is your ethnic identity? What is your culture? Why is cultural diversity so important? Our culture is what shapes us. It shapes our behavior and our identity. Culture is our way of living. It refers to the shared language, beliefs, values, norms, behaviors, and material objects that are passed down from one generation to the next. It is important because our country, workplaces, and schools are increasingly consist of various cultural, racial, and ethnic groups. We can learn from one another, but first, we must have a level of understanding about each other. Learning about other cultures helps us understand different perspectives within the world in which we live. It helps dispel negative stereotypes and personal biases about different groups. In addition, cultural diversity helps us to recognize and respect ways of being that are not necessarily our own. So, as we interact with others, we can build bridge to trust, respect, and understanding across cultures. Traveling abroad can turn out to be a series of bewildering and frustrating incidents that leaves you longing for home. Or it can be one of the most exhilarating learning experiences of your life. The root of many of our emotions abroad, whether frustrating or exhilarating, will be culture. Many travelers go through an initial period of euphoria and excitement, overwhelmed by the thrill of being in a totally new and unusual environment. As this initial sense of adventure wears off, they gradually become aware of the fact that old habits and routine ways of doing things no longer suffice. They gradually or suddenly no longer feel comfortable themselves. If this happens to you, as it is likely to, you will feel like the outsider you in fact are. In order to solve such incomprehensible situations that each person may encounter, we would like to teach our newly added guests to learn English and, at the same time, on the diversity of cultures using direct materials that will help you improve your knowledge of different skills. Looking at our poster, here are language objectives and ICC objectives that students will be aware of after our lessons. For the language objective parts, here are functions, vocabulary, and structure. For the function, students will develop speaking and communicating skills as well as social and cognitive skills. They will be able to explain, describe stories, and discuss with each other. And for vocabulary, students will learn new words. Most of them are adjectives connected with Finnish culture, defining people and situations. As for structure, students will learn how to retell stories by using past simple tense relating past events. Then let's look for the ICC objective part. With the help of selected critical ICC incident, students will be able to know general facts about Finnish culture, their lifestyles, attitudes, and own beliefs, knowing differences between their own and Finnish culture by comparing both sides, know what is normal and acceptable attitude in one culture while in another is not, to avoid any incidents in future. With the assistance of chosen critical ICC incident, students will be able to tolerate with other cultures' understanding and beliefs. They will improve their attitude as showing politeness and respect toward the target culture. They will be able to express openness and curiosity about the target culture and its values. In help of the chosen critical ICC incident, students will be able to learn new skills such as skills of initiation, skills of observation, skills of acceptance, skills of integration. They will train these skills and will be able to deal with unfamiliar situations in different cultures. With the assistance of chosen critical ICC incident, participants would be ready to get accustomed to extraordinary aspects of the target culture beforehand. As a result, they might have already acknowledged concerning individuals and life generally, and would be able to face with cultural variations. Maybe one day they will also go abroad and choose homestay. We hope this might help them to avoid culture shock and in some cases disappointments on the possibility of visiting that place. All in all, in terms of intercultural communication, actually it is not something you can learn, it is something you have to experience. The important thing is meeting new kinds of environments, encountering new situations that you can early prepare for. The first time you encounter them, you are stuck, not knowing what to do, not knowing what to say. But what the intercultural communication competence can do is to help students grow early. Because when you first enter a multicultural environment, you don't want to be held back just because you can't communicate. A lot of time you are not able to accept the way people think. Maybe someone expresses an idea and you don't agree with that. Or maybe someone's habit which is influenced by his background culture makes you confused. Intercultural communication is being able to not lose patience and think from their perspective. Try to understand the situation and maybe strike a compromise. Things like that are what define your ability to communicate interculturally rather than simply be able to talk or live in the environment. Those all things need you to experience in person.